Hello everybody, welcome back to another one of my Star Wars Battlefront 2 videos, where today we're going to be ranking every reinforcement in the game by how good they are from worst to best. But coming in at the worst one, and I'm ranking every single one of the aerials different, because most of them have differences from their predecessors or other ones. Coming at number 17, this is kind of obvious, we have the Imperial Rocket Trooper. They have the default heavy weapon, which is one of the worst weapons. Its cooling power is awful. It doesn't do any damage unless you're right next to somebody, and when you have an aerial, you don't want to be right next to somebody to be able to actually deal quick damage, because you want to be able to maneuver around while still getting a good amount of damage out. So that's why they come in at number 17. At number 16, we're going to have, let me find them, the Flame Trooper. Now, as much as I hate ranking these so low, they're just not good. They're only good in like one very specific point, is you're playing co-op, and you're on the last phase of Jakku, and you just wiped out all of their resistance. There should be like a little tunnel where like almost all of them just funnel out from, and you can just sit in front of it and burn them to death. But other than that, that's really the only spot he's super good in. Coming at number 15, we have another one. It's with the Droideka. Droidekas were awesome when they were released. I personally still love them, but compared to everything else, their gun is a pea shooter. I mean, it takes so long for them to come out of their wheel form and go back into it. Their overload is probably their best ability, but as is for everyone, their energy shield, it's really weak. And when it comes to that, you don't want a like super weak energy shield, because in the actual movie, the energy shield stayed up, which I know would be pretty bad in this if the energy shield stayed all the way up, but just make it either stronger or make it to where it doesn't matter how much damage you take, it's like a time limit, which I think would be cooler. Coming at number 14, we're going to have another aerial. We're going to have the Resistance Rocket Jumper. The only reason I rated this one so low is because I like the Rebel one just a bit better, because I like the Rebel's gun better. These two are almost exactly the same. This one's just meant for more longer ranges and is worse at close range to medium range. And this is going to fall up into our number 13 spot. It's going to be the Rebel Rocket Jumper, which is the exact same thing, except it's better at close range than it is at long range. And I feel like you want to play this one. This one's a little bit better just simply because they can do like really easy, quick burst damage, because their gun's a burst, A280. But coming at number 12, personally, this is a lot of people rank this one higher, but to me, they're just not good. Where is it? Silky Warrior. I never liked them. It's so hard. Your thermal imploder will almost never hit for me. You can throw it, and it takes a ton of time. Their overload ability is just Chewbacca's, but actually worse. Their fortify ability belongs to everything else. They're just really not that fun to play, for me at least. But they're good. They're just harder to play than a lot of them. However, if you're good with them, you can blast through entire like hordes of Imperials or droids. I'm coming with the up next in our 11th spot, just skipping out on the top 10, we have the B2 RP rocket droid, and personally they're one of the coolest looking droids in the game, next to the Droideka and the Commando droid and Grievous, so I guess it's not really that cool looking. But it's just because everyone else in front of them is better. They're really good. They're one of my favorite aerials. Personally, when I use them, I push them from about 53 to 78. I push with just in that. And I used them a lot before I had them completely maxed out, and they're just one of my favorites just to mess around with. They might not do that much damage, but they have 340 total health. That's a lot for an aerial. That's more than every enforcer, except for when they have their fortify ability on. No, it's like 10 less. No one else has that, and it's really interesting, and that's why I love playing them. Coming at number 10. The first infiltrator, we're going to have the ARC Trooper. The ARC Trooper is just because of their guns not dealing as much damage as I'd like, and their shock trap not being like a shock, but more of a blast. Their helmet scanner, the only reason the helmet scanner is useful is if you have Stalker equipped, which I do use, but I mean, other than that, their power blast is really good, but it wastes so much heat on their guns. You can only fire like 3 more times afterwards, and then you're done. But otherwise, they do have a good damage output and good range. And they actually hit a lot more shots than you'd think. But coming in at number 9, we have the new one, KFX Spy. The KFX Spy, how do I put this? They are really good, except all of their abilities are just weird. The Truncheon attack's a last resort only, don't use it otherwise. The rapid fire is really short-lived, and their scanner beacon only works outside. However, if you can get past those cons, their scanner beacon can destroy like so much. I think it takes out half the health of a hero, and that destroys almost everybody. Their rapid fire, if you can hit enough headshots, it will just murder any. I think it does enough damage to where 2 shots can kill a heavy. No, 3 shots can kill a heavy if it's a headshot. The Truncheon attack, it's like Jin Ursos from the original game. It's good, but it's really only a last resort. However, Jin Ursos was a little bit better because you could like do more with it. But coming in at number 8, we have the Jet Trooper. The Clone Jet Trooper. The Clone Jet Trooper. It's their pistol. Even though they have the same abilities as everyone else, it's their pistol. Their pistol is a sniper mixed with the shotgun, mixed with the 280. It's basically a gun that can fit any range no matter what, with very low bullet drop off, meaning that you could be on one side of the map and kill somebody from the other side. It'd take just a little less. The bullet drop off is like, if the Droidicas is basically, their bullet drop off is like from like 15 feet away. The aerial, this Clone Trooper aerials is from like 700 feet away. You could be all the way across the map and be completely fine. Coming in at number 7, we have I think the final of them. Yes, we have the final one of these. It's the First Order's Jet Trooper, the newest one, and probably the best, for the simple fact is their gun, and plus I really do like their jetpack. This is a new form of jetpack, and it makes everything better. The jet tackle is more like the Ovisian Gunner's charge and Han Solo's shoulder charge. Only use it to get away, not to get kills, because you're not going to do very well if you try to get kills. Their tri-barrel launcher is probably one of the best things in the game. It's basically a barrage, but you can use it over and over again. Their gun has explosive shots, so you don't even have to hit them. You just have to hit near them, and it does damage, and that's really good because, you know, it's quick, easy damage without even having to hit them. Coming in at number 6, some people maybe get surprised at this, but it's going to be the Clone Commando. Personally, the only thing I feel wrong with the Clone Commando is their pea shooter. Literally, it does no damage, but you can hear a lot of shots. Their battle focus is really hard to use. Their repulsor blast is practically useless, and their anti-armor attachments, they're good, but there's just one problem, is that they take forever. They take forever to actually use after you to attach it, and then you have to redo it, and it takes like 5 seconds for that to do it, and then you shoot, and you have to do another 5 seconds, and you shoot again, you have to do another 5 seconds, then you shoot, and then you can't use it until it recharges after like 20 something seconds. So I feel like that's the only thing that really puts them down, but otherwise they're really good. Coming at number 5 is going to be the last of the no, not the last of the infiltrators, but the third to last of the infiltrators, the Sith Trooper. The only thing that's really bad about them is their secret tactics, and it's not even that bad. It's not bad at all. It's just decent, because it still reveals a lot. The repression grenade is probably one of the best grenades. It explodes on impact and doesn't allow healing and does a ton of damage. Their combat rush is like, I wish they'd do something about it, because it just looks like they sped up the animation for it instead of just make them look like they just run faster. It just sped up the animation so it makes them look like Sonic the Hedgehog at Star Wars. But yeah, and their Cora Blast is one of the coolest things I love it, like watching it, because it like spins in a circle. It looks like a little star. And then their normal gun's awesome. Like if you use a Coral Blast and shoot, because unlike the ARC Troopers, their Coral Blast leaves like 15 shots afterwards. But coming in at number 4, we're basically down to Enforcers now. We have the B2 Super Battle Droid. These are just so useful. Their wrist rocket's really good, their overload ability is really useful for them specifically, their fortify basically gives them the health of Han Solo, which is 650, doesn't actually, I think it's like 500 something. No, it's an extra 150, so it's almost 500 health for one person, and it's not a hero. That's a lot. And they only made it to number 4. But coming in at number 3, we're going to have the Death Trooper. Now, Death Troopers, their Sonic Imploder is one of the most useful grenades, if not the most useful, considering it reveals enemies, it blinds enemies, and it deals a butt ton of damage. That's really good for just a grenade. Their fortify, like everyone else's, is basically the same. Their overload ability is really good. However, I don't like the gun. It's just this cooling power, and according to like Star Wars canon, they actually should have a sniper type weapon, but I don't really care because a Death Trooper with a sniper would just be dumb. Because then they're not going to be as useful. They'd be closer to the bottom of the list than the top. Coming in at number 2, we'll have our final infiltrator, the Commando Droid. I mean, there's nothing really bad. Their smoke screen plus their thermal vision plus Stalker. Basically, that's a bunch of free health. Their Vibro Sword, it knocks them farther than Captain Phasma's staff strikes, which is really good. So, I mean, they have a good amount of health. And other than that, there's nothing really wrong with them. But coming in at number 1, which by now you should know who it is the Avician Gunner. Defensive stance, easy, quick. It's got no heat. It's it's really good. It starts you and your teammates healing immediately. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Anti-armor mode can destroy a ATST in 3 hits. The charge, like Han Solo's shoulder charge, is really useful for just getting away. And otherwise, I mean, there's nothing really bad to say about it. And they're one of the newest characters, and by far the best. So that's where I'm going to end it here. Now you know who to play and who to not. Goodbye.